This is John, and today's project involves the kitchen sink faucet. For the last at least three and a half, 4 weeks, we've been suffering with very low volume on the hot water side of this kitchen faucet. So, in trying to troubleshoot the situation, I first went ahead and disconnected the handle aerator, took it apart, soaked it in vinegar mixture for a good 3-4 hours, and it seemed to improve a little bit, but then went ahead and the volume on the hot water side slowed right down again. So at that point I started thinking more difficult items to consider, and not so much on the front end here, but the valve on the handle, the cartridge on this particular one. This is it's a Moen faucet. It's a ball system. It's the Moen 1255 cartridge replacement. It's about the size of a ping pong ball, and went ahead and proceeded to replace that, try that out, and that did absolutely nothing. The volume on the hot water side was still next to nothing. So at that point I contacted a trusted friend, Ed, and he said, well, before you start changing anything, why don't you go ahead and disconnect that hot water side and blow through it and see if there's any debris in there. Blew through it. It had a lot of resistance, so I went ahead and got my compressor and blew it through the lower portion. As you can see, the water's filling up. That valve isn't quite sealing completely, and went ahead and proceeded to blow through this connection, and it seemed to go through okay. Went ahead and connected it, tested the pressure actually off. I got a replacement hose, put it back on the existing valve, and the pressure was fine off the valve. I was actually thinking the valve was stuck, so I was ready to replace that. But water volume was very strong from the valve. So I went ahead and took the air hose tip and proceeded to blow out through this portion right here. Apologize for the finger and shakiness here. But went ahead and proceeded to blow through this end, and lo and behold, from the other side, pop this piece of plastic from something. Not exactly sure. It's got to be from the, guessing, inside of this sprayer wand. So that lousy little piece of rubber, which I'm guessing is from the handle. So at this point I'm going to go ahead and connect everything, and we'll see what happens. Well, what I did here is I had this extra hose in my plumbing supply kit. Went ahead and put this on temporarily on the valve after I disconnected the hot water supply. Upon disconnecting that supply line, I blew air in from the valve side underneath the sink, blew that out with the hot water valve open at the handle, and as I mentioned, blew out quite a bit of water. No debris seemed to land in the sink. Went ahead and proceeded from the other end, and with the sprayer wand and disconnected, blew it in right from this open as I showed earlier. And on the other end, below the sink, I tried to make sure it was clear and clean so I could see if anything came out. And sure enough, this hard piece of plastic blew out from the other end of the factory installed hose. So after about a month of usage, this pressure dropped dramatically, and it looks like, here's our cold water to show you an example or comparison. Cold water side and hot water side. No drop in pressure. It seemed to be a piece of rubber that was exclusively on the hot water hose, in the hose. Perhaps upon manufacture that piece was lodged in there and just managed to work its way through and create enough of a nuisance to drop the pressure. So, job complete. I put this one off for quite a while. Finally just put my mind to doing it. Problem solved. Happy days. If you like this video, folks, check like. Please put any comments. This is early attempts here at some videos, so I apologize for any shakiness. And we will see you on the next round. Take care, and thanks again.